the other time I tried doing a live here, I ran away because I was live shy. But hi guys, and welcome to my third live, probably the fourth or the fifth, I can't remember, but I've been getting a lot of questions, yeah, about like GKS U, the most recent updates and all of that. To be honest, I don't know so much about GKS-U because I am a GKS graduate. However, I still make the effort of um, reading the guidelines, even though it doesn't have anything to do with me at this point. Reading the guidelines and trying to always respond to the questions you guys pose, like, oh, how do I do certain things, what is required of me, and all of that. And then sometimes the questions in the comments are not really necessary because they are strictly, or they are what plainly in very big capital alphabets written in the guidelines, like, oh, this is what you guys need to do, this is what you need to not do. Like the guidelines, the guideline, the global career scholarship guideline is your dictionary. It's a book that you're supposed to read in between lines and not skip any points, because if you don't do that, you get confused. You probably go about asking people, oh, how do I do this, how do I do that? To be very honest with you guys, I didn't have anyone telling me like, oh, this is what you need to do for GKS, oh Franca, this is how. What I did, I read the guidelines in and out, every page. I think I read the guidelines like 4 times, and I always referenced back to it whenever I had any questions or whenever I had anything. The only time I sought help was how to arrange my documents, which I asked my friend who was in India, Abby, who is in India at the time, and that was how I was able to do these things. But people keep asking questions like, oh, do I need to like do this, do I have to be like this, do I have to have these things? It's in the guidelines. Read the guidelines, read the guidelines. But yeah, I think that would be the best. Hello, John. That would be the best approach for you to be able to excel in your GKS application. One of the approaches you need to be able to excel in your GKS application, because if you do not put your GKS application correctly, you will fail. People think, oh, it's basically arrange documents, do this thing, do that thing, and submit. No, you have to follow exactly how the instructions. Koreans are very meticulous, like they are very precise. When they say write like this, write like that. When they say do not skip this, do not skip it. When they say do like this, do it. Don't say, oh, let me just do like this, maybe they will consider. They don't function like that. They don't function like that. When they say it should be done this way, you have to do it this way. That is the main reason why you have to read the guidelines in and out. Even if you hate reading, even if you don't read any other kind of book, you see that guideline, that global career scholarship guideline, if you want to get it, you need to read it. People come and they're asking, oh, do I need IELTS? Is topic compulsory? Did you see what the guidelines say about this instruction? Did the guidelines say it's compulsory? What did the guidelines say about having IELTS? What did the guidelines say about having topic? These are extra points. If you have topic, if you have IELTS, or the other one, I don't know, you will get extra points. So if you read the guidelines, you'll be able to even plan for your GKS. You'll be able to even arrange your documents in the way that you will get extra points. If you read the guideline this year, you know what and what is required of you. You know what and what will give you extra points. You start preparing. Okay, GKS say, if the guidelines say if you have topic, you're going to get extra points. By next year, you should have topic. If it says you have, if you have IELTS, you get these points. By next year, you should try to have IELTS. Like, try to prepare for your GKS in a very, very intentional way, not just based on what people are saying, like, oh, you're in some random group and people are like, this is how you should do it, or this is how I know one scholar that did like this. So, and to be you'll be surprised that some people even spread false information on groups or certain things because they don't want people to pass, or they don't want people to apply correctly. It's a competitive scholarship. There are definitely people out there who are willing to spread out false information to get other persons to fail. I mean, if in a country they're selecting only two people and you're in a group, you think that there isn't somebody in that group that is trying to pass out false information. So why don't you read the guidelines to pass, to be able to do well? But yeah, basically this live video is to answer Q&As, like questions and answers for the Global Career Scholarship. So if you have your question, even if you're not applying this year, if there are things you're curious about that, well, if it's not stated in the guideline, I will be able to answer it, even if it's stated in the guideline. But I don't know the guideline in and out. But if there are technical questions, I'll be able to answer them. I'll be able to tell you that, oh, this is how you should do these things, or this is how you should do that. So that's the essence of this live. So if you have, let me see. If you have your questions, please ask your questions. And also, thank you guys so much for always interacting with this channel. I did not see this channel to have potentials, but we've been able to grow and come this far. And thank you for always sharing my content whenever I post. Okay, because I'm trying to see, like, there are some very common questions I get, like, oh, what was your GPA when you applied? What does the guideline say about your GPA, your CGPA? Even if I tell you my CGPA, it doesn't change anything. So far as your CGPA is not in line with what the guideline says, you won't get it. So there are certain things. For example, if the guidelines say your CGPA should be 3.30 and you apply with a 3.29 and be like, it's just 1 point, hopefully I will get in, that alone will disqualify you. As surprised, I don't know if it sounds surprising, but that alone will disqualify you, because they are very high testosterone. I don't know if I pronounced the name correctly, sorry. But like, that alone will disqualify you. Like, if they say put a full stop at the end of this thing, you have to put a full stop at the end of that thing. Koreans honestly are very, very strict, should I call it strict, compared to us, and they don't really bend. They don't really bend their rules for anyone, to be honest. I remember, like, the language school, and how about the 20 percentile? What do you mean, how about the 20 percentile? I don't understand your question. Please be how do you call it? Can you please ask your question again? Because I don't understand. How about the 20 percentile? But as I was saying, like, in the language school, when we write and we don't put full stop, we get minus for that. That is how meticulous they are, very detailed. Like, you get minus for not putting a full stop. Talk more of writing and not following the instruction that was given to you. So that's how strict they can be. And they have all these rules because they have so many persons applying, and then for them they consider, like, oh, how to even take off the first few persons would be like those that did not stick to the rules, right? Those that, hi Kevin, those that did not do the things which we've asked them to do, the things which we've outlined in the instruction. Like, for those that did not do it, that's where they begin to cut off people. Okay, these people did not follow the instruction, so let's cut them off. Let's look at the people that followed the instruction. What did they do and what did they not do? So that's how it begins. And the one you submit if you don't reach this GPA, 20%. I don't know if there is. Oh, you have to be. Is it the one where they say you have to be in the top 20 of your class, or top 10? Because I know the conditions are, it's either you reach the particular GPA, or you're in the top 20s of your class. So if that's what you're referring to, then it is it is useful, well, according to the guideline. And as I said, you should refer to the guideline if you're not sure about certain things. Someone said, oh, I currently have an IELTS 6.5. Is it a good score for GKS? I am for visual communication design. It is a good score for GKS, but it is not the ultimate thing for GKS. It is a very good score for GKS, but it is not the ultimate thing. Because I think I should also be looking at the guidelines why I am saying all these things, so I don't say any, I don't give out any wrong information. Where is it? Where is it? So in the guidelines, they are very they are outlined things. Like there is one that talks about the English test. There's also one that talks about topic, and there's also one that talks about one other test. But basically, if you have any of those tests, if you read the guideline, if you look at the guideline, there are points attached to it. Like this one gives you this point, this one gives you 3 points, this one gives you 4 points, and so on and so forth. Someone said, I'll have to baby it back. Oh, sorry. I am just nervous and I made uh well, with your transcript, I would say it depends on what information was wrongly written. For example, my transcript in my grades, there was a course I had an A, and instead of an A, like A is like this, they wrote a V instead, like. But it did not affect my application because the most important thing was the grades aligned with the total calculation of everything. So I think that was how I passed that one. I'll have to maybe it back. Please, regarding the instructions, I removed the one I asked to remove, but there are some that they did not specify. What am I to do? I don't know which instructions you're talking about. Please be specific. Should I still remove them? If there is an instruction that says to remove, then you should remove. If it does not say to, if it doesn't specify if you should or you shouldn't remove them, then you shouldn't remove it. I have been asking myself that what is really the ultimate thing? Yeah, the ultimate thing I would say is the things that have been stated in that guideline and then any other additional thing. So for me, before I applied for GKS, I read the guidelines, I saw the instructions, I saw like the things that said if you have this, we'll give you extra points. And that was why I took topic and I got topic. I took topic 1, I got level 2. So I think that gave me, was it 4 points or 3 points extra? So I had to look at the guideline and look for the ultimate things, like what did they say? How do you do these things? I read over and over. Basically, for me, it was I needed to find a strategy to apply because I applied only once and I got it, and that was my plan to get it once. Well, that was kind of my plan because I don't think I was going to try GKS for the second time. I was like, okay, if we get it, we get it. If we don't get it, we proceed to something else because I had other plans basically. And then someone says, since this year on is online, do we authenticate and legalize first at the Ministry of Education and Foreign Affairs, including Korea Embassy, before we can apply online? I am lost. This year's own, of course, is online, but also you're going to be submitting your documents. So if you've read the guideline, there are two processes. The first one is online. So basically, the online application is for you to do, and then they'll determine if your documents qualify to move on to the second round. So your documents have to be legalized, authenticated, and all of those, whether you're applying online or you're going to apply offline at the end of the day. That's if you pass the first application, which is the online application. you have to authenticate your documents. If you do not authenticate them, it will disqualify you. But please refer to the guideline again, because it tells you what document exactly to authenticate or legalize and what documents to not authenticate or legalize. I think that answers the question, right? You should regardless, and you should check the guideline. um just me, I applied Unitrack, Hanan University last year, wasn't picked, and this year looking at my personal statement, I'm just well, I think if you look at your personal statement again and you see the loopholes or like the things which you wish you did and don't add, then you should add it. For example, for me, I am GKS 2024, right? But I wrote my personal statement in 2023. I wrote my personal statement in 2023, and then in 2024 I basically modified it and applied. I added things, because even me, when I looked at my 2023 personal statement, I'm like, good thing I did not apply that in 2023, because I don't think I would have gotten it. And by 2024, I had gotten other skills, or I had taken courses online, I had done competitions, I had done a lot of things, and then I added all those things into my personal statement. So I enriched my personal statement by 2024, and I was lucky. I got it. And like like the recommender information, it has plenty instruction, and I don't want them to feel like common instruction I can follow. Okay, let me look at the guideline and answer this question about the recommendation letter. Where is it? But if you're really confused, because for recommendation it has two methods. It's either you send the form 4 to your recommender, and then they type in the recommendation letter in there, or they simply type on their letter headed paper, and then they attach it to the form 4, which is for the application. Because for me also, that was what my recommender did. He wrote the recommendation letter on an A4 paper, on his letter headed A4 paper, and attached it to the um recommendation form. Yes, and I hope that answers the question for you. Ola, okay. I hope that answers the question. And then, can travel from East to Abuja for topic road bad? Quite risky. That's very risky. But I think you said you have IELTS, right? Isn't it you that have IELTS? No. You should have either one. Honestly, it would help you. You should have either one. If you don't have topic, you should have IELTS or the other one. There are 3 tests. Basically, you can check the guideline. There are 3 tests. So the recommenders information, if this, yeah, the instruction seems like a lot. So print out the form 4, send it to the recommender, and they should type the recommendation letter on their own A4 paper and attach it to this instruction. Don't delete anything that doesn't say to delete. Please fill your name and other required information below and deliver it, or mail this form to the person who would write your recommendation letter. The recommendation letter has no prescribed format and may be written in any format. It is submitted separately from the recommender's information. Request your referee to seal the letter of recommendation in one envelope and sign across the flap. So I think the instruction is very clear here. No. So you're supposed to fill your own part, which is your name, and then send this letter to the recommender, and they will do the rest of it. There is also an instruction on this recommendation form in the guidelines. Please refer to the guideline. Hi, well done. Thank you, Allah. I'm still confused about the set of original copy to submit. Does it mean I'll submit my original certificate? No, don't do that. Don't submit your original certificate. I have a video, right? I don't know if you've seen it. The video on how to legalize and authenticate your documents. So basically, for example, this is my original degree certificate. This original degree certificate, I am going to make a copy of it, a colored copy of it. So this colored copy will stand in as my original degree certificate. This is the original, and then I'll make this colored copy as the original. So this colored copy now, I will hold on to as my original. This colored copy, when I go to the Ministry of Foreign Affairs, they are going to legalize both of them, this and this. When I go to the Ministry of Education, they will legalize both of them. But this one now is the one you're going to use in your GKS application, not this one. So you're going to keep this one away. This one now, you must have made copy of it. So make black and white so that you don't get confused. So the black and white becomes the photocopy. So so the photocopy, so you have the colored one, and let's say this is the black and white copy now. So the colored one will be your original, then the black and white will be the photocopies. So basically, this is the one you're going to submit in your GKS application alongside the photocopies. Don't submit this one, you'll not get it back. So I think if that answers your question. And then to be honest, knowing how much time it takes for authentication and the rest, just do it first. Sorry, to be honest, knowing how much time it takes, authentication also depends on how fast you're able to do it. And I understand that some persons live outside of Abuja or Lagos, which will be difficult for them to come into Abuja or Lagos to find accommodation and all of those to stay and then do their authentication. But it's a difficult process, which is not one which you can do all at once. If you stay in Abuja, you can take time to do it gradually. Probably if you start in January, you'll be done by February. I did mine in a month though, because I was up and down every single day. I tried to pursue it. And also, if you know the process, it's not difficult, because when you go to, if you go to Ministry of Education, you're going to, first of all, as of the time, I don't know about now, upload your documents online on their portal. Then you pay for a meter, then you go back upstairs and write in the book your meter number, and then they assign you a number, like a number, your position as of when you're going to come for legalization. Then you go back that day, or the day of your appointment, and on the day of your appointment, go early. And then, because there are usually a lot of persons that when it's your turn, like the number given to you, you're going to go in, submit the documents, they'll legalize it, you go to the next office, they'll finalize everything, you're done with education. Foreign affairs is just across. As soon as the day I finished my Ministry of Education legalization, I did my foreign affairs the next day, and I was done. You go to foreign affairs, the same thing. You go to the cyber cafe, upload your documents, go inside the office, you get assigned a number, you sit down, you wait, they do every you can do it. Doesn't take so much time if you're doing it yourself, except if you're having someone help you, then maybe it's difficult, but it's something you can do. And then and also they only put the grade, not things like ABC, etc. And also I am using associate degree, and I am a computer software engineering student trying to apply to what do you mean they only put the grade and not things like ABC? Please be specific so I can answer your question clearly. People keep saying don't write the whole 3 pages. What should I do if I reach? People, this is what I was saying earlier. Leave people alone. Leave people alone. No, you better go and read the guideline. because there are people who do not want you to get GKS. GKS is so competitive, everybody wants to get it. They will tell you things to make you fail. Well, I'm not saying people are bad anyways, but read the guideline. For me, I think is either I wrote exactly 3 pages or I wrote 2.5 pages. My guide, I'm sorry, my personal statement, my essay is up on my page, so you can refer to it. I think I wrote 2 pages or 2.5 or even 3 pages. I can't remember. But if you can write 3 pages, write 3 pages. But I do not recommend writing a page or a page and a half. Doesn't do justice to your competency. For that recommendation letter, I'm getting one from my lecturer and one from Red Cross. Are they both going to be pinned with Form 5 or one will be an extra document? No, they should both, they are separate. Sorry, should they both be pinned with Form 5? Hold on. Let me not say what I don't know. Where's the guideline thing? It's Form 4 recommendation letter. So, for example, this is Form 4 recommendation letter, right? When you print out Form 4, you have one of the letters here, the one from Red Cross, and then let's say you have the one from your lecturer. This is Form 4, so you're going to attach, this is Form 4, you attach one here, and then you attach the other one here, and then they should, two of them behind, they should be on the Form 4. And then I hope that answers the question you asked just me. Have you seen the price of, oh no, I have seen the price of, that was why I took topic instead. And then I'm thinking of getting the letter from my school. Good. I highly recommend getting letters from your school or like lecturers or professors. Even the guidelines stated that if you know your original won't be issued back exactly by school, you should make a copy and authenticate it. Right? That's what you're supposed to do. And I do have some certificate that complements excuse me, my my intended major. I do have some certificate that complement my intended major, visual communication design. Should I also add it portfolio? Usually it's not like key or it is not very essential, but if you want to add a portfolio, then you can. But I know there are certain universities that specifically ask for it. So if it's not specifically asked for, you're allowed to add it because it will be as a supplementary document. And if you think that portfolio is a strong one, you should definitely add it. Yes, you've answered my question. Oh, thank you. Thank God. Because I'm like, I don't even know what I'm saying, but I hope I answered the question. I used agents though. That's another thing, right? I understand you stay in the east, right? So usually, if you use an agent, it's not bad, but you use them and be prayerful, like, let these people not mess up my documents, or let me not hear story. That's the thing with using agents, because they can do anything. What I mean by anything is they can mistakenly not do certain things or mistakenly forget, because they have a lot of people who are always on them, like, oh, help me do this, help me do that, because they don't live in Abuja or they don't live in Lagos. But yeah, they try to always do the work right. What if you wrote a King Sejong Institute online test? Can I add it to my application? Will it boost my application? My result is quite good, just that I didn't register for topic on time. Yeah, it's okay. I used a King Sejong's online test result as well, so it's okay. You can definitely use that. Well, the process might look easy, but but it is tired and it is very, very stressful. I lost weight, I lost my complexion, I lost everything when I was doing legalization, so I understand. Guidelines if it's not guiding. Anytime I feel like I have done a good job, then boom, I would feel I haven't. See, I would say you should do it this way. First of all, read the guideline. Second of all, watch YouTube video. This was what I did. I read guidelines, I watched YouTube videos, and then I always reference back to the guidelines. And when I watch YouTube videos, I didn't sit like this and watch. I always had a book and pen. If they said, oh, they did this or you need to do that, I will write it down and then I will compare it to what the guideline says. And then you can ask a trusted friend. Don't go into general group and go and ask question. People that would give you wrong information. Everybody will want to tell you, oh, I know somebody that did like this, oh, I did like that, oh, that. Mm-mm. If there's a specific person in the group you trust, go and ask that person. Or if you think the person knows, go and ask that person. Don't just ask your question like that. Ola, anything you don't understand, email or call NIA. Anything you don't understand, don't email or call NIID. One is NIID will not respond to every email. Even with our in Korea, they don't respond to every email we send, except if it's crucial, because they read the context of the email. If it's something they've talked about in the guideline, because there is a section of the guideline that has frequently asked questions. If there are things that are under frequently asked questions, least likely will they reply to your mail. So you should look at the frequently asked questions section first. If there's something you're uncertain about and you find it there, then go down fine. And emailing NIID, because even for GK students, if you have to email NIID, you usually have to attach your student number so they know that, oh, this is a GK student emailing about certain things, and not to talk of people who are not GK students yet, right? So you should factor, or you should think about what you want to ask first. I just hope this works out for me, and if it does, maybe it would be your turn to pick me. Oh, it would be nice to pick people up, you know. I haven't picked anybody up from the airport yet, but it would be nice, I guess. I hope it works for you. I pray it works for you. You see my question, I don't even know which and what to ask against. This year was funny. Something happened, and that made me to miss this year deadline. They brought it in the first year, and never said it's fixing it. What? I would go crazy. If I have worked for K beauty brands, but it's not just related to my major, is there a reason to mention it? Oh, mention. You should mention it regardless of it being related to your major or not. You can add that in as like an experience, because I think there's a part that's in the essay that usually says you should talk about if you've had any significant experience or anything, you can add that as a significant experience. I mean, you're in Nigeria, not everybody gets to work for K beauty brands, so that is a significant experience. You can basically write that as, oh, you had a significant experience of working for a K beauty brand, and tell them how or what makes it significant. Not a lot of people have the opportunity, so for it was significant. We were able to do this and that with the company, so it was significant. Paint it as a significant thing and add it to your application. Sometimes they always refer me back to, you see, they will always refer it back to the guideline, because the guideline has it all, well, almost everything. So you should read it carefully and you'll find the answer. And then someone says, it's nice to see your face clean. Since no more questions that I can think of, let me compliment you. Thank you. Even though this is like, what's the time? 5 a.m. I just woke up. Oh, it's already 6 a.m. Forget how I'm dressed. It's 6:02 a.m. and I was going to do a Facebook Live at 4 a.m. I slept at 2 a.m. Then I woke up at 5 a.m. And after the Facebook Live, I was like, let me see if I can do a YouTube live as well. And thank you guys so much for joining my live. Otherwise, I would probably be doing something else right now as well. K-pop idol. Which K-pop idol? With which I don't have potentials, please. Hello, thank you for your efforts so far, giving so much value to people. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you so much. That compliment got me. I'm going to cry. Thank you so much for the clarification. Sorry, how long does it take for the Korean embassy to consolidate documents? It depends on the situation or the time frame at which you apply or which you submit. Usually it takes a week. So if you get your appointment, if you email them, get your appointment this week, they will give you an appointment for next week. So if you submit your document Monday, if your appointment is on a Monday, you submit on a Monday, you should probably get your documents by Friday. So it takes a week. However, if it's peak period where there are a lot of students who are coming to authenticate, then it will take time, because sometimes there are situations where like the consular is not on seat or situations like that. Because I did my authentication twice, and the second time the consular was not on seat, so I think that one took 2 weeks before I was able to get the documents back. So it depends on the situation, and also it depends on the period of time when you submit. If it's peak period, it might be difficult. And then sorry. Must I do it list like as mentioned for my personal statement? List like? No, you don't have to do it list like. You can write in a chronological order, and also you can simply, referring back to the you can simply write according to the instruction, like their point, right? The first one is motivation with which you apply. The second one is educational background. The second one is the third is significant experience, then extracurricular activities, and then if applicable, awards you've had or you've received. So you can write in that order. If you're not very sure, then you can watch my video of me reading my personal statement, not how to write one, but of me reading personal statement, and you see how I wrote mine. And Ola, don't be whining me. Okay, Nigerian Gks ambassador. Okay, I will become the Nigerian Gks ambassador next year. Like I write motivation for applying for the program, the educational background must be like that. It's not, it must be like that, but that's the standard format. That should be the standard format. I highly recommend you stick to it. Don't shift outside of the box. Stick to it. It would be more good, because they would basically read your essay in that format. So it's not disliked, but it's like in that order. You start with your motivation, then talk about your education. You should write it in that order. I would vote. Hell, I will vote for you. I like your video. It is easier to understand, and sometimes I feel like my questions for you are just too much. Yes, sometimes I get overwhelmed with questions, but thank you for watching. It gives me that feeling of people being able to, well, interact. So I interact with the videos I post. So sometimes I get too many notifications. I think like this week I've been getting a lot of notifications, especially after I posted the video on the Gks-U application. I'm like, oh my god, these people want to kill me. But I try to answer all of them. I try to always respond to them, because I think it's important that people get right information about what to do. So sometimes please be considerate and be like, should I ask Franca this thing, or should I just check for it in GKS guideline? I think checking for it in GKS guideline will help both of us. Please, oh, I wanted to ask, since I did mine this year, March or something, will it be valid next year? Are you applying for Gks-U or applying for Gks-G? Because basically your document should be a year old from the time of application. So if, for example, you legalize this year March, because applications usually open in February. If it opens early February, then you can still use it. But if it opens late February, or also if you're applying, if it's by a university track, and let's say you apply by March 30th and your documents expires, or your documents was legalized March 28th, then it won't be valid anymore. Be careful. So it should be a year old, and also with authentication is usually 6 months old. So for legalization, a year old, and for authenticated documents, 6 months old. Regarding my recommendation letter, I still don't know what to do, because the school I attended was shut down though, and I wrote my work elsewhere. Any advice for me, please? If you can get a recommendation letter from like a mentor, because someone was asking me if they can get from a mentor. If you can get from a mentor, good and fine. If you can also get from a workplace, good and fine. And yes, I would recommend you get from a mentor, a workplace, but not from friends or family. So because your recommendation usually should talk about your educational background, talk about your capabilities, talk about your potentials, talk about why you're a best student, or yes, best student for the scholarship. That's what your recommendation letter should entail. So if you know you have someone who would write those things for you, someone who knows you well enough, knows your academic background well enough, someone who knows your potentials, someone who believes that, oh, if you give these students this scholarship, they'll be able to excel well, let that kind of person write a recommendation letter for you. I hope that helps. um what if I did an assignment and submitted without having a copy, and I mentioned it on my personal statement, but they said to submit evidence? What should I do? If it's an assignment, I don't think they would necessarily ask you to submit evidence for everything, so far as you're able to prove with other points. For example, in my personal statement, I wrote my experience working for Mixon, a Korean brand back home in Nigeria. I didn't have evidence, right? Well, I had pictures on my phone, so if they had asked for evidence, I would have shown them a picture, but they didn't ask for evidence. So I don't think they ask for evidence of everything, or sometimes they even let you attach pictures. If you have pictures you want to print out and attach to your document, like your supplementary documents thing, you can always do that. But for me, I basically stated that I worked for this K-beauty brand, but I didn't have evidence to back it up, but I stated it because it's factual, or it's a fact. And then through the form 4, can you please check it out and see the instructions I'm talking about? Sorry for the stress. Oh, I feel stressed already. Where is it? Form 4. I'm supposed to go out at 10 a.m. I'm probably going to meet my friends and I'll be sleep talking today. I don't even know if that makes sense. But GKS application recommendation letter. For applicants, the recommender's information must be scanned and uploaded on the Study in Korea website and submitted with the other required documents. So when your recommender fills this form, this recommendation form, you're supposed to scan it and upload it online because the first process is an online application, right? The completed recommendation letter must be placed in an envelope, sealed, signed across the flap by the recommender after the first round results are announced. Submit the recommendation letter to the first round selection institution. So this recommendation form, this form 5, you're supposed to send it to your recommender to fill in his details. And then on a separate A4 paper now, that recommender should write you a recommendation letter, put it in an envelope. The recommendation letter, put it in an envelope, seal and sign on the flap. And then this form, the recommender will now send it to you. Then you now scan the form and upload it online during the um first application, which is the online application. So now when you send this when you scan and upload this thing, if you now pass that online application, right, you're now going to send you're now going to submit you're now going to submit the recommendation letter gong, the one that they will sign, the one that will be in the envelope. You're now going to submit it to either the embassy or the university which you're applying to. I think that's the instruction, Abby. Are we clear with recommendation letter now? Because that's what you're supposed to do according to this instruction. I hope I answered that question. Graduate to I missed the guideline because of the fake signatures and stuff. I would highly recommend you try to do the legalization and authentication process again before that February. Reason being that, one, now we can see that application is going to be done online and then offline, which is when you go to submit at the institution, right? So just to be sure that the date will not be too late, it will be best to have freshly authenticated and legalized documents. Because for example now, if online application opens in February, you upload these documents online in February, and then offline application will now be in March, and let's say you pass the February application, now you're going to submit the offline application in March, right? If you go that March and let's say your documents have already expired, that's automatic disqualification already. They'll just put your document aside. So just to be on a safer side, I know it's expensive, it costs money, it's stressful and all of those things, but it's worth trying if you're really bent on getting Gks. And then I kept hearing if it has expiration date. I kept hearing if it has expiration date, then it would be calculated from the date written. Yes, that's what I'm saying. But if it has submitted within 2 years from the date, then it's valid. The thing is, legalization and authentication are two different processes, right? There are two different signatures. The legalization one is the one done by MOE and MOFA, MUFA, and authentication is the one done by embassy. So, embassy, if you've legalized at MOE and MOFA, and the expiration date is a year, if you take the next step after legalization is authentication. If you take this thing to embassy to authenticate it, if they see the date and is a year or more than a year, something like that, they will ask you to get new signatures that are within 6 months old for them to be able to authenticate. I'm telling you this because it happened to me and other persons that tried to legalize again. Because GKS usually opens in February, and then we got selected first round. Was it first round or second round? But at the end of the day, somewhere around June, July, when we were going to apply for visa, the dates on what they call it, on our documents was already more than 6 months old. And then embassy said we needed to get fresh signatures for them to be able to process certain documents or blah blah blah. But the point is, embassy have their own rule on how old your documents should be, and then MOA and MOFA have their own rules. So if it's 2 years or 1 year, but with embassy it should be 6 months old for it to be able to use it. Is it sorry? Is it too late if I currently have not authenticated my documents yet? I plan to go to Abuja next week. If you plan on applying to Gks-U, then I would say it's too late, because legalization, it's not just legalization. After legalizing, you have to go to the high court and get CTC, certified true copy stamp. From there, you have to go to the embassy, book an appointment. It's not something you can just barge in and get your signature and leave. You need to book an appointment. So that will also take time. And online application already will open in 3 days, on the 15th until 30th, right? So if it looks like you'll be able to do it, if you live in Abuja and it looks like you'll be able to do it within that time frame, then you should. But it's quite risky to try. And also, if you try and then the application closes before you're done, you might have to do it again, which you might have to legalize those documents again if you want to apply for next year, because the signatures must have expired, and legalizing again will cost you money. But yes. Oh, also, if you're going to apply to university track, then it's possible you can do it, because university track application closes a little bit later, right? So if it looks feasible, like with time constraints, like time, and it's good to try, you know. And then that's what the guidelines state. And I emailed NIID and they said they still sent it to me about the expiration stuff. Are you on Instagram? Yes, I am on Instagram, but not on Instagram. I'm on Instagram. My link is in my YouTube bio. But if it's about GKS, honestly, I would highly recommend you ask your question here, because I have done GKS ambassador for 1 year. I think I have resigned now. DMs about GKS doesn't really see through, and also I don't really check it often anymore. So if you really want to know something, it's best to comment here than to DM me. I would least like to respond, to be honest. My recommender told me to fill it myself. She not get that time. Fill it too. If you know her details correctly, you should fill it, because what's here? Your name, recommender's name, but there's a point where the recommender has to sign, right? I think you have to let them sign, because the signature have to tally with the signature and your recommendation letter, so they should sign that. Please, must all documents be ready before you start, or you can start or continue later? They should be ready before you start, at least a month ready before you start. I started my legalization authentication process in December. I finished first week of January, and I applied for GKS in February. So you should be done before you even start the process. The instruction on Form 4. I should have titled this YouTube live or last Q&A about recommendation letter being a Form 4. The instructions on the Form 4, should it be removed or more? I am sure you'd tax me with a question now. I am already taxing you. But I think we already read the instruction, right? the instruction on form 4, did it say to delete? No, it didn't say to delete, so don't delete it. Because there are some instructions that usually say to delete. For example, um, yes, for example, like in personal statement, it says, please remove this instruction after reading it, right? But for recommendation letter, we can't see anything that says to please remove instructions, so do not remove the instruction. Is there anything like that? No, I can't see any please remove the instruction, so do not remove the instruction. Please view your name. Do not remove the instruction if it does not ask you to remove the instruction. Don't know if I'm saying well though, but I would still say you should read the instructions yourself again. If it says to remove them, then you should remove it. Regarding my documents, I legalized and authenticated my documents in March. Should I read to the process? Is it old already? If you're applying for Gks-U, this 2026 Gks-U, then you don't need to redo it. If you legalized and authenticated in March, then you can use it now, except if you're planning on if you're referring to March last year, then you'd have to redo it again. Ew. I am not saying about legalization and authentication. I'm saying to submit it, sorry, with this year's signature, since without expiry date they calculate it from then, and without expiration date it's valid within 2 years. I'm kind of lost too with the question. And then after I filled it and then submitted it with her, okay, but I used the recommendation for from this year February, right? But I can't use the recommendation. Oh, recommendation, you can use, you can, sorry, what? You can use your recommendation. Hold on. I know there's an instruction about this in the guideline. You can use your recommendation letter within, you should use it within a year. You should use it within a year. So you also said when printing out, and where is the only form we concern master, I will print it out, not with PhD form. Yes, print only those that concern masters. Don't print PhD because you don't need it. I'm looking for recommendation letter instruction. But I know there is the recommendation letter instruction. But the point is your recommendation letter should be a year old. It should be a year old. I can't seem to find this, but it should be a year old. Your recommendation letter. When, I'm not saying legalization or I'm saying to submit it this year signature. Sorry, I got a little bit confused with your question. And then this one, Ola says, I am sad to go, but oh, bye. Thank you. Oh, also today's like the Soul Africa Festival, so I'm going to eat a lot of food. Anyways, I also think I should end this live now. Thank you guys for watching, joining the live. I hope I was able to answer a lot of questions. And yeah, I highly recommend that. And yes, thank you guys for joining this live, and it's pretty late back at home. So I will see you guys next time. I'll try to do lives often so I can also get used to this live thing, because I have no idea how it works. But yay, thank you so much, and God bless you too. Bye. This was fun than I anticipated. Thank you. You see, I don't even know how to end the live. How do you end the live? Okay, I think it's here.